some test. Well, some facts here. This text will be fast. Now this one will go second here. On the less known fact. And so I will remove this. This one is not, it's too much. And I think we can start. Oh, hi, welcome for another, let's say, alternative history ASMR video. And the subject for today is, let's imagine that communism as ideology never existed in the past, and what would have been the world without this ideological current. And here are some alternative facts and some fictional scenarios. We're gonna explore the world where the communism never emerged as a political ideology. The absence of communism would have profound effects on global history and economics. Without the rise of the communism in the 20th century would unfold quite a differently course of very many events from the past. And here the most important facts. So a world without communism, there will, as alternative scenario, no Cold War, of course, because the Cold War, the major geopolitical conflict, it was from between the Eastern Bloc and Western Bloc, between the ideology, the communism and capitalism, will not occur in this scenario and in this alternative timeline. Instead, global politics will likely be shaped by other ideological tensions or geopolitical tensions. So, the first fact as alternative history in a world without communism is no Cold War. Good. So, that was one of the major alternative facts. Well, a world where communism never existed. It's a world with different economic systems. Without communism, the dominant economic system of the 20th century would have been, of course, capitalism, and maybe some various form of socialism. Well, capitalism in this stage, capitalism will likely have faced different kind of challenges and critiques, possibly leading to alternative economic branches and theories. Another very important fact is that a world without communism, if the communism never existed, it's no communist revolutions. The Russian revolutions from 1917 and subsequent revolutions inspired by Marxist ideology would not have occurred logically. countries that experienced communist revolution, such as China, Cuba, Vietnam, Korea, would have followed different kind of paths and economical developments. So another major fact will be no communist revolution. In the absence of the communist regimes would result also in different cultural and social landscapes in, let's say, affected countries. So, because you know that the communism has influenced all type of trends in art, literature, society, culture, and implementing different kind of ideologies that are closely related. This would have differently evolved without the influence of the communism ideology. In the absence of a world where a communism never existed, would be a world without superpower rivalry between the US and the USSR. That, again, as alternative scenario, would influence the global conflicts and resolution mechanism. Let's take in account two major conflicts like Korea and Vietnam. The United Nations and other international bodies might have evolved differently, so definitely a world where communism never existed or been invented, there was a world without, there will be a world without Vietnam conflict and Korea conflict. Domestic politics. The fear of communism often influences domestic politics in some countries that were satellites of the Soviet Union, leading to suppression and movements and the rise of authoritarian regimes. Without communism, or without communism to be ever existed, these political dynamics would have been different. The absence of communism will be influenced economic policies worldwide and the authoritarian and totalitarian regimes. Intellectual debates about the merits and the flaws of capitalism versus communism have shaped academic discourses for decades. Without communism, alternative economic and political models might have been received more attention. So next, I need to have a look a little bit because there are some points that maybe I forgot. Okay, social movements, very important. Let's take into account the civil rights movements, labor movements, and other social movements often interacted with the communist ideology. In a world without communism, the dynamics of these movements would have been quite different. And next, national identities. Well, let's have a perspective look over the past where the Cold War was the major subject in the 20th century. And that era of Cold War played a significant role shaping national identities worldwide, particularly in countries aligned with USSR or US. If the communists never existed, these national identities would have been developed along different patterns. Well, now, there were some scenarios like different or alternative ideology conflicts, because in the absence of Cold War, other ideological conflicts and geopolitical tensions would have taken the center stage, period. That's my opinion. For example, nationalism, religious fundamentalism, and different forms of socialism might have emerged as a primary source of international conflict. So we're taking the communists out of the equation. And this is an alternative ideological conflicts that might been taken place if the communists never existed. Another scenario is different economic policies. Without the threat of communism, capitalist countries might have pursued economic policies differently. The welfare state might have evolved in different ways, with potentially less emphasis on social safety or greater emphasis of public and redistributive policies. Another alternative scenario is countries that were heavily influenced by communism, such as, for example, Russia and China today, may have different paths of development like capitalism and democracy. This will have implication on geopolitical dynamics and international relations. Another scenario that must be taken into account is the scientific progress. In the past, in the 20th centuries, the competition between United States and Soviet Union during the Cold War era spurred significant advancement in science and technology. So, without this competition, the pace and direction of technological progress might have been different, with potentially slower development in certain areas like military or science or safety. If we can imagine a world where communism never existed, in the absence of this ideological trend could have altered the peace nature of globalization, the spread of capitalist economic system might have occurred more rapidly. Again, the spread of capitalist economic systems might have occurred more rapidly, leading to a different pattern of trade, politics, investment, cultural exchange, global scale, and also of international and diplomatic relations between states. Well, the social impact. Well, the fear of communism would have fueled other forms of political repression. Intellectual discourse on political and economic system will have been different. And in terms of alliances, international relations will be different with different rivalries. The development of technology, particularly aerospace and military, will have different paths. Decolonization process might have differently unfolded different various parts of the world. And overall, the non-existence of communism would have fundamentally changed the course of the 20th century's history. That's the final conclusion, leading to a world with a different political and economical dynamic. However, it's essential to recognize that historical events are shaped by numerous factors and predicting, and this will lead to another speculative scenario. But in my opinion, a world where communism never existed will be a more better world in the past. And with this said, thank you for watching as always, and until next time, I wish you all the best. Bye bye. So no communism. Well, that will be perfect because I'm from a former communist country. I came from a former communist country.